We are getting canceled today. For those of you who are watching this on Bigo, make sure that you follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, anywhere the podcasts are listened to, because today may be your last day. Listen to me. I'm pretty sure that the Darren Green Show is going to suspend me for what I'm about to say about this next topic. So just thank you guys for tuning in. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And if I become unemployed today, just know you can still go to thedarrendoll.com and donate. All right, let's get into this thing.
Call this great.
Well, child. Well, talk about H&R. Now, Whoopi Goldberg, child. Now, girl, let's get into it. So, the hit daytime talk show moderator Whoopi Goldberg made some comments about the Holocaust. I'm not going to play the video because we all know what she said. She basically, I'm just going to paraphrase it.
Play the video.
I don't got the video.
This ain't the video?
No, this ain't the. Do she got? Is it? No, they ain't video ain't on here.
Let me share the video. Goddamn.
I just wanted to get like a picture of her. That's why I have it. Oh yeah, dismiss. We're not subscribing. Anyway, she basically said that the Holocaust is not about race. That it was man's inhumanity to man. Okay, and that was derived from a conversation that happened when some schools in, I want to say the South. I don't know where, but I know it was definitely the South. They are blocking
they block mouse.
They block mouse from schools. I read Mouse when I was in middle school. It was a pretty good book. It was definitely a good, like, got you in the feel of what happened in the Holocaust, and it was like a comic book too. So it was like it appealed to kids because, I love me some comic books, honey. Anyway, it was a good book, but they blocked it, and they were talking about it, and that's when she made that statement. Now, quickly after the show aired, she got backlash, big time. I mean, there was a lot of people that were frustrated with what she said, and she apologized initially on her social media sites. Then she went on the Stephen Colbert show, and she talked about it a little bit more there, in which some people were saying that she was doubling down, or what she was saying, which was not the case. We'll get into that. And then she came back on The View to address it a third time, where she brought somebody else in to talk about it, and to educate. Notice my fingers, for the listeners that can't see me. That wasn't enough for ABC. The president herself made a statement, like literally hours, not even hours, but it was like later in the day after she came back on and apologized on the show, that she would be getting suspended for 2 weeks. Now Whoopi is blindsided. She allegedly is upset about this. She's thinking about quitting. A lot of the co-hosts are, in cahoots with her, like they're mad too. It's just really messy at the View right now. What's going on, Derek? What? There's so many layers to this conversation, and I'm a pinpoint them, but I just want to get your.
How dare they come for Whoopi Black Ass Goldberg at the beginning of Black History Month the way that they did, because she told the truth. Okay, so let's talk about it. If we want to talk about it, Whoopi Goldberg set her black ass on that white ass network in Jewish ass Hollywood and told those people the truth. The Holocaust was not about race. Now, when Jason came, or when the guy came, he was like, the Nazis felt that they were the superior race and that the Jewish people were an inferior race. Okay, first of all, let's talk about this. Race is a social construct. And in the grand scheme of race, but 3 races of people. It was the whites, the blacks, and the yellows, because they stopped dealing with the reds. The reds.
We gotta say Asian. We cannot say yellow, chaps.
No, the white. No. If I'm black, we got white people. We got yellow people and red people. Those were the 4 races at one point. It was called the white man, black
That's what
man,
they called
red
it. Okay.
man, and yellow man. Right. So when it came to the global construct of race, the power dynamics, there were only the big 3. So when you look at how they were rounding up the Jewish people, Jewish, and I'll get to that in a second about the ish on the Jewish part, right? So being Jewish is a religious custom, right? That's part of your ethnicity, your ethnic experience, the culture of that particular group of people who were also what? White.
Or Caucasian, to get the
Those were
Real.
white people. Okay.
Okay.
Those were colonizers, African colonizers. You know, get what I'm saying? So I'm like, now, what we should have said was, sure, it was race. It was racial. It was white on white crime. I would have called it that. Call it white on white crime. Since everybody want to bring up black on black crime when we talk about race issues and we talk about us not wanting to be killed by the police, and we want to talk about, you know, not having to be subject to systemic racism or institutional racism or communal racism. Let's talk about that. The Holocaust was an attack on a religious sect, right? The Nazis were they were German white Christians who felt that they were better and superior than the Jewish community and wanted them eradicated. That is what that was about. That was white on white crime. Wasn't racial. The white Aryan race thought they were better than everybody, every other type of human being on the planet. On a power structure, that was not racially motivated. It was basically getting rid of people that they didn't like. And people say, oh, they round up black people, blah, blah, blah. Listen, when the Holocaust happened, after that monstrosity, you know, the Jewish people got reparations, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember when the bombs went down on Hiroshima?
Yep.
The Japanese people got reparations. Black people have been fighting for reparations for years of having their ancestors enslaved here. And what they want to give us opportunity zones. They want to give us, access. They want to give us access to healthcare. Oh my God, praise God! I can't believe that.
Something everybody got.
They want to give us watermelon lemonade scented candles.
It's okay.
You get what I'm saying? And I think that because Whoopi is known to be a black ass black woman, but she's also very compassionate and very intelligent. Has a great worldview, and she eloquently laid out what she meant when she said what she said. It wasn't about race. That wasn't racially motivated. That was about a group of people who did not respect the humanity of other people.
Yeah.
Because that's what it all boils down to. Even when we talk about racism, or we talk about acts of violence or acts of racist violence towards other people, take the race away, because that's imaginary. You're a human being that doesn't value the life, the quality of another human being.
Now, to the people that were saying that, okay, so I think a lot of people, the American definition of race is different from the European definition of race.
Who cares? This is The View, and all of those women are American. Next case.
Well, I mean, they say that we stuck in, talking about phenotypes and all in the sense of like, oh, I see what you are, then that's what you by sight. Like, I think Whoopi's statements, and I did say that I didn't.
If Joy Behar had said it, they wouldn't have said a word because she's Jewish. If Joy Behar had said the Holocaust, she's as a Jewish woman, and she said, take the race out of it because they were all white people.
Yeah.
The Holocaust was about a group of people who thought they were superior to others, who then tried to wipe them out because they did not respect the humanity of these types of people. That is what the Holocaust was. They were led by a man who was fucking delusional and deranged.
And
now, because
he was the one that said
now, mind you, this was white on white crime. The Holocaust in America is now bridled as the most horrific act of genocide the world has ever seen.
Yeah.
Baby, y'all came to America.
It's an old land.
To somebody else's land and wiped out millions of natives who were also Aztecian and technically black as well, because we've been here. It ain't like we were gone. We've always been here. So I don't like now this is not to downplay the Holocaust. And I hope that for those of you who are watching, especially if we have any Jewish viewers, listen. I stand with all people. I want all people to be free. But I also want there to be some sense and context to what it is that we're talking about, what we're facing, and just dealing with reality. I realize that people do not like listening to the truth. People hate when you tell them three things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They don't like it when you tell them that them ain't Michael Jackson's kids. They don't like it when you tell them that Trump lost. And they don't like it when you tell them that the Holocaust is a tragedy, but it is not the worst tragedy that has ever happened in the history of the world. It is a tragedy.
Yeah,
it is a tragic
tragedy.
event. And to go into this measure, I just feel like the public relations aspect of the Holocaust is that people always try to position it as if this was the gravest offense ever known to man, when you're literally talking to people who are the ancestors, and it's not just Black people. There have been hundreds of thousands of acts of genocide that have happened on this planet. And you know what the common denominator was?
What? Yeah, it didn't have to deal with
Do you know who the common denominator was? So if we're going to talk about this thing, be honest. And I feel like spaces like The View are platforms where they're supposed to be able to give their opinion, their perspective, and their honesty.
Yeah.
Without there being all of this extra, like I feel like this is what I saw. I was like, oh, they're buck breaking Whoopi now. That's
so
what I took it as.
My initial thoughts of her statements, and I think what Whoopi said was factually correct, but ethically was wrong because of the offense of, because it offended a lot of people.
So what?
And we're at a time now where we're at a time that you still happy with Nick Cannon.
They need to cancel all. They need to cancel all shows, any show that requires people to have their own thought. If you're not allowed to have freedom of thought anymore in mass media, they need to cancel every show that's not scripted. That's not scripted.
Right.
Because
I definitely what she said was she's correct, but it's like we're in a sensitive time, and that's what happened. But
you're in sensitive times, you grow up.
My issue with this whole ordeal is the whole suspension part, because it's like, okay, she found out about it like we want to say hours, like the whole day after the episode where she addressed it again aired, third time when it aired, and the president, which is also a woman of color, I'm like, sat there and made that suspension, and without pay. I'm hearing now she's losing over like $192,000 because of this break. I'm like,
that's because the president's trying to keep her job.
You know what? I'm like, could we keep that same energy though? Because let's be clear, Joy Behar says some stuff, and Meghan McCain with her microaggression ass, she said a lot of shit. I'm a fan of The View. I watched The View. I went on there 2 times. Okay, I know exactly what they be saying on there. Meghan McCain used to say some real off-the-wall shit. She used to say stuff that was low-key racist or prejudiced at best. What Whoopi Goldberg did, what she said, fine. Maybe it offended some people. But is that warranted for a suspension, an unpaid suspension at that? Hell no.
Y'all not gonna get my girl like that. Y'all not gonna get Celia like that. I don't care what they talking about.
That was and then y'all blindsided her. If y'all was gonna do that, y'all could have had her on the show. Like, okay, well, we had this person come on. Sorry for what I said. I'm gonna take a 2-week vacation or whatever. I'm gonna take a 2-week break or whatever. This, that, and the third. It seems like she was blindsided. Like that's the part that was like, and people was in my comments on TikTok talking about you think she deserves to be let know. I'm like, she's Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah. Like when you work in the game long enough. And this is something they would do to a rookie. Like this is something they would do to a new person, that says something off the wall. All right, we're gonna put you to break a little bit, 2 weeks break. You don't do that
in Hollywood. What you've learned over the past few years is that nobody is above the system, right? So what the hell just happened to my notes? Nobody's above the system. You just have to. You have to play that game. When you're in Hollywood, that's how that works. You have to play that game.
Yeah.
And what I don't like is that, one, yes, there's a Black president of that network now. And I think that when I say it's always your own people, is that there's an extra pressure when you're the leader. And if one of your people says something or offends somebody, you have to act as if you were acting on behalf of the people that were offended, right? Even if you agree, she could agree, but like, but listen, I have to do this because that's the business. Our advertisers may pull out.
Yeah.
I have to think about the business, and it's gonna look bad. It may feel bad, but I have to do this because this is how the game is played. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that it happened, but I don't think that it's. I mean, Whoopi Goldberg can take a 2-week vacation; she'll be fine.
Yeah.
$190,000. What she can do is she can negotiate to get that put back in her contract for next season, and just add it back. I would double it. I also need a 380. I need a $380,000 bonus added
Periana.
to my contract for next season.
Yeah.
And it's
This
like
is a
we're
mess.
literally watching these black commentators every
And on the
week.
first day of Black History Month. Like this happened the first day of Black History Month. I'm like, this is what y'all do? Y'all suspend.
They trying to take out Seeley.
Whoopi freaking Goldberg. Are you kidding me? Now, it's funny how you said in the beginning, Joy Behar actually is a Jewish woman, and she was allegedly one of the co-hosts that are like also upset about this. They said Sonny's upset about this. They said Anna Navarra, Sarah's being neutral. Sarah's always
Anna
neutral.
Navarra has spoken out already.
Oh, what'd she say?
She thinks it's ridiculous. Like she.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
well, see, here's the thing too.
Out.
Here's the thing, and which got me in the comments because one of my videos I was talking about, it's like, oh, well, there's people that got fired. Some of these little conservatives. There's people that got fired for less. And I'm like, who y'all talking about? So I looked it up. They're bringing up all these people. They bringing up, oh, well, they fired Roseanne, or they did the girl from that was Star Wars, Gina Carano, that said all these anti-Semitic things.
But this was not
Bill O'Reilly and
anti-Semitic.
shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't anti-Jewish. Like, it wasn't anti-Jewish people.
Mm-hmm.
She put context into the humanity of the dehumanizing, actions that took place in that event, in that historical event, taking the race out of it, because everything can't be racial. And when you make things racial, that's what amplifies the sensitivity. And they made it racial, right? So it's like, listen, when dealing with this particular incident, you're looking at the pictures. These are a bunch of white people. These are white folks.
And somebody on YouTube, I forgot her name, but she said it. There's some lady on YouTube that made a good comparison, because they said if Black Americans decided that they wanted to do a whole mass genocide on Jamaica, it's not going to be like, oh my goodness, like it's a race thing. It's a race thing. No, it's Black folks enslaving Black folks.
That part.
Like, do y'all not like? We get that, but we are in a time where certain things you cannot say, and a lot of people said that there's a lot of people that own a lot of media.
Right. And let me get right. Now let's get to the now we got to down to the bottom. Let me get to the nitty-gritty of why I said at the top of this we're gonna get canceled. And they try to cancel me, and that's fine. And with me entering into the industry, having a clear understanding of who has the power and all those things, that doesn't bother me, because the truth is the truth. But like I said, I was on Facebook under your post, it's like, you know what? I feel like people don't understand how words work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jewish people, ish. Okay, we're talking about etymology now. What does ish mean? When you put it's a chop.
It's a chop. Like,
and I'm back.
I'm back by popular demand.
I'm back by popular demand. What I was saying is Jewish. When you add ish to something, ish denotes like, right? Mm-hmm. Like the Jews. All right. So the Jewish people originated when a particular space, most people call it Africa, the motherland, anything like that. But when these spaces were colonized, these people took on the culture of the people that were there, who were the Hebrew, also known as the Jews. They were Black. This was their religion that they practiced. Mm-hmm. Their dedication to Yahweh, right? So these people were Jewish. These were not the Jews. They were Jewish. These were white people that came in like they always do. Ooh, what these Black folks doing? I want that. Mm-hmm. They took that culture and they built power in it. The Holocaust, even though it was a tragic event, has given the Jewish community so much power, right? They're almost untouchable. He didn't say anything bad about them. They have their own communities. They're able to buy up city blocks. Have you been to New York?
Yeah.
They're able to buy up city blocks. They have their own schools.
I mean,
when
that's happening here.
when coronavirus happened, baby, they said, "What mask? We're not doing that. That's against my religion." And they were partying in the streets, no mask. Testing. What do you test for? God takes care of me. Doing their own thing, and you can't say anything to them. Why? Because they're Jewish, and
If you
their
say
community
anything anti-Semitic,
and their community's been through so much, and they're still struggling with it to this day. Are they?
and I can tell you who's struggling. Us, we struggling, child.
Continuing to fight for our voices to be heard, continuing to fight against our culture being pillaged and resold to us at 400% markup, calling us ghetto, uneducated, ignorant, and then taking those same things and marketing them back to us and into white spaces for profit. Still degrading our women, emasculating our men. And I'm not talking about sexuality either, right? So it's like,
yeah, I mean,
there's a disassociation with the truth.
Who's really struggling? You get what I'm saying? And it's let's
I
be
just
clear.
think that, and all of my, I mean, into it, Whoopi was right, and people just don't like the truth. People do not like the truth. The powers that be, there are truths that would be best left if we keep it to ourselves. But it's not like we don't know.
Yeah.
It's not like we don't know.
And that's all I gotta say. That's all we have to say about it. Like, tell us what you think in the comments. We're definitely gonna have this clip on a separate video, as we do like the clips and stuff like that. So we want to know what you guys are thinking about with this topic. It's starting to be a nuisance. Okay, we understand what had happened with Nick Cannon. We understand. Okay, fine, whatever.
Wait, what happened with Nick Cannon?
You know what happened with Nick Cannon when he initially got like canceled. He got canceled.
Oh yeah.
He had somebody else come on and talk about it, and he was kind of like in agreement, and that's what got his shows cut off, and he had to apologize, doing the whole apology tour. I don't like that whole thing. It's like, you better apologize, or you ain't gonna ever work in this town again. Like, it's weird. Like, it's really, really weird, child. I'm gonna make my own platform, but that's why there's people like what's his name, or Joe Rogan, because Joe Rogan. They just now found out that he was saying the N-word in one of his other shows. They done pulled up that, but I bet you Spotify ain't gonna cancel his shit out. They ain't gonna end that deal with him.
Right.
He got 11 million downloads.
Neil Young. I was talking about the Neil Young situation. NDRE pulled her music from Spotify after that.
It's gonna take and I hate to. I don't want to
take Beyonce. Beyonce don't care about Spotify.
It's gonna take a Beyonce leveled singer.
Who is that?
That's gonna be either Mariah, Taylor,
Beyonce
Drake.
level. That sounds crazy to me.
Beyonce level, as in streams and stuff like that. Like, come on,
okay, okay. I'm like a Beyonce level.
Not as
girls ain't getting them numbers.
I'm talking about streams.
But like a Taylor Swift, like a Taylor Swift stream queen kind of thing. Rihanna, one of those.
Now Drake did some shit like if he pull his music off, which I don't think is gonna happen. Then I think Spotify will be like, all right, so
he's Canadian, he don't care.
Rogan, you gotta go. Or anybody that has more numbers than he does, because he has 11 million downloads. So I mean, it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game, but that's all I can say about it. We'll see what happens, child. I hope she don't leave, because if she leave, that's it. I ain't going to that show. Ain't watching it no more, child. It's over.